De Rochechouart jusqu'à Ménilmuche, la rue de Lappe à la rue de la Gaîté, il n'y a pas une môme dans tout Pentruche qui avec la mienne puisse lutter. De tous les côtés quand on l'épluche, on ne trouve rien à lui reprocher. C'est un oiseau rare que roi des vénards j'ai eu le bonheur de dénicher. Ah, si vous connaissiez ma poule.
Hello everyone, it's me again, the Fat Chef. Now just let me give you one thing I learned over the years about food critics. If you're watching TV and the food critic is skinny, shut it off. The skinny guy has no idea what he's talking about. Here's one of my favorites of all times, and it's a one-dish dinner that you can serve to your guests, and it's always been a hit. And it's pork Murphy, but you could also make it as chicken Murphy. So I'm just going to give you a couple of caveats. One is, be sure if you're going to do pork or chicken Murphy, to use the better than bouillon. All right. Why do I tell you use the better than bouillon? Because a lot of times you will go, you'll buy those bouillon cubes, and those bouillon cubes are nothing but pure salt. All right, and if your people are salt sensitive, you're going to ruin the whole meal. The other thing, if you're going to use butter, I use sweet butter. So let's get started. Pretty much chopped everything up, and first thing I start off with is either the pork or the chicken. Right here in this cast iron, and again, cast iron is so critical to your success. I wouldn't try cooking this meal on anything but cast iron. Here's another favorite of mine, and again, whatever you do, don't use cheap olive oil. You'll ruin your whole meal. And this dish is key. Olive oil is key to this dish, so don't hesitate to use a lot of olive oil. And it'll flavor. We're going to use a lot of potatoes in this dish, so the flavor of the butter and the olive oil are going to go right into the potatoes. So here we go. Kick this up. I've kicked it up to high. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to brown this pork. If you look real carefully, you'll see I've got these bad boys. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to build my stock now. I'm going to turn down the heat, and I'm going to transfer this pork. And again, remember, it could be chicken. It doesn't have to be pork. It just depends on whatever you can buy at the right price. And again, you brown these bad boys. The whole secret here is getting some nice flavorful stock that we can add to our potatoes. Now these potatoes will pick up whatever the stock tastes like. Because potatoes, I've told many, if you've looked at any of my other videos, potatoes have very little in the way it tastes. So we're going to flavor those potatoes with some stock. And what I'm going to do here is just take some garlic, a little bit of olive oil. This doesn't go with the recipe. A little bit of red wine. It doesn't have to be Don Perry. It can be anything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that develop its own flavor. And I'm going to put this, well, I'll give you my reason shortly. I'm going to put this off to the side here. And just let this steep with a lid on. Alright, now I'm going to try to build my stock. One of the things I build my stock with is vinegar. La Greta Garbo peut aller retirer son chapeau. Ils n'en ont pas à lui faire tout.
couleurs. À New York, à Honolulu, mieux foutu. Et vous la voyez, vous en rêveriez. Ah, vous connaissez ma
Distilled water. This is our stock, though. This is where our flavor is going to end up going. Right now, again, don't be shy with the olive oil. And the other thing is, don't be shy with the garlic. Let me see if I can get the last of that garlic in there. And when the camera's off, I'm going to throw just a little red pepper in here, just for a little bit of heat. Now, some people like their chicken Murphy hot, some people like it just sweet. So what I'll do is I'll make two dishes, one hot and one sweet. So here's one of these new wine bottles with a plastic cork. Okay, now I'm going to kick the heat up here, and I'm going to put another pan on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my potatoes in here. So now my potatoes are going to pick up all that flavor, and then we're going to combine everything a little bit later on. And let me just slide these boys around here. So whatever flavor is in that stock is now heading for these potatoes. So we're going to get this to cook. We're going to turn it down, let it simmer, and then I'm going to do one more pot momentarily. And now in my third cast iron, I'm going to fry some onions. Although that looks like a lot of onions, you'll see it cooks down relatively small amount. Some peppers, I got some red, these are all sweet peppers here. There's nothing hot. So that will keep all those flavors inside. So I'm going to, this is again better than bouillon. I'm not going to skim. I want a lot of flavor. So this is going to be my chicken stock flavor. Even though it's pork, it works very well with the dish that I'm preparing. If you could only be here to smell this, see what we got. What I've done is this one is hot, this one is sweet. Now I use this crushed red pepper, which I don't normally use, but I don't have any hot peppers that I feel comfortable with. And if you put too much heat in there, you're going to ruin it. And you know, I've got some peppers that I know, and unfortunately I don't have it with me, so I've got to use this. But you probably are looking at this and saying, well, this looks like soup, you know? And don't hesitate, you know, taste this thing. I used a teaspoon to taste it. Don't hesitate to add more garlic, or more wine, or more olive oil. The olive oil will never hurt your meal. So if you feel it needs a little bit more, put it in. Now we're going to cook this like it's a soup, and we're going to cook it down so it gets syrupy. When it's syrupy, then it's done. Ready? All right, let me show you something now. This looked like soup, as you can see. The mixture's getting thicker. Watch when I push back like that. See how you can begin to see the bottom of the cast iron pan? That's a sign it's starting to thicken up. See it? But it's not thick enough yet. Still needs a few more minutes. See how your potatoes are starting to break apart? That's a sign you're getting close. So again, we're going to keep our eye on that, but I think in the next 5 minutes it'll be ready. And the good part about this dish is you can let it sit for 2 or 3 hours without hurting. You see how the stuff is really gotten thick?
Ces baisers moelleux font dresser les cheveux, ces baisers profonds vous font sauter.